I skipped right to the Kingdom Hearts section. Um, so there was an interview in the Japanese magazine Young Jump with Nomura, and he talked about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and this Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy, and those characters and originally designing them and stuff. But then he also talked about Kingdom Hearts. So we'll read everything, but we're gonna start with page 3. We're gonna start with the Kingdom Hearts page. I've read some of this. I've read the summary, but I haven't read every word. This is just like a Google Translate. This is just a page translation here. So other sites will probably have more articulated, easier to read translations later. Last time I looked, it wasn't up yet. I expect like KH13 and them to have like a better translation, but last time I looked, it wasn't up yet. There's been people on Twitter making like, notes and little cliff notes and stuff. Um, but this is the full interview translated from Japanese. Yeah, I haven't seen another translation yet. So, this is what we have. Soggy crayons, what's up? It put the children in the soup. Later, later, after this, we'll put children in the soup and grandpa and grandma and feed our village. That's right. Hi, Christiana. All right. Okay. I wish I could move this over. When and how much of the Kingdom Hearts series can be seen? So you can see it's Google Translate. Some of this is really good, and some of it's like very Google Translate. Many of the works, this is the interviewer, many of the works that you work on have complex settings, but how do you put these together and implement them on set? And then Nomura, this is Nomura's answer. That's the format of this. I don't think the people on set understand it perfectly either. So the game devs, the staff, the writing staff. When other staff members explain the setting and characters to the voice actors during recording, the staff members ask, "Is this okay?" And there are exchanges like, "No, it's not." So, voice direction, yay. However, that can't be helped as I am the only one who understands the parts of the characters that aren't drawn. So I'm the only one who thinks about the complicated storyline fluctuating in various directions. Conversely, I encourage the staff members to be proactive in asking me questions and pointing things out to me. So basically, no more. I love Nomura saying like I'm the only one who knows the full depth of my characters. I love that. He's like so like and I love that is that he's like whenever they're doing like like the doing the voice acting and the voice directors he's like I want them to ask me like is this okay? Like he wants to I wonder how much of that process he is actually a part of like in the booth in the studio. Like I wonder if he's ever like physically there or if like it's just he's only listening to the recordings and saying like is that good, is that bad, I wonder I wonder if he's ever like actually there in person. I bet so. Like not the whole time obviously, but like here and there, maybe during like important scenes. That would be cool. Is there something like a setting materials collection? I think what this means is like a guidebook. A materials collection is usually like reference art and stuff like that. So do you have like a reference art, a reference like a guidebook for like the lore of the series? There are some things I personally take notes on so I don't forget them, such as the footsteps of important people, future developments, and so on, including times that haven't been depicted. Let me make this bigger actually, because I'm scrolling down. There we go. Um, so he's got the big things like written down, big ideas that he wants to do written down so he doesn't forget them, including times that haven't been depicted. I wonder if that means like in the past, like how Dark Road was like the story of Xehanort that he always wanted to tell. He said that in an interview, like this is the like Xehanort's backstory. I've always had this story and I've always wanted to tell it. And Dark Road was like his opportunity to tell it, which is so cool. God, I wish he like just got to tell every single one of those stories. I don't think he's going to get the chance. So that's not something you share with others. No, I keep that a secret. However, if there's something I need, I'll suddenly write a setting explanation in the middle of the scenario so that the staff can understand it. So like in the writing room, he'll write like here's the explanation for what's going on, even if that's like not directly in the script, like making little notes, like this is what this reference is. That's cool. This is so Google Translate. I'm sorry. I think there are hints that span the series, that span the Kingdom Hearts series, but how do you keep track of them? I've written quite a bit in the memo I mentioned earlier. Can you imagine having like the Kingdom Hearts, like Nomura's master? Can you imagine seeing Nomura's like master Kingdom Hearts notes book? Oh my God. But I asked the staff to remember it, and I like watching videos, so I look at gameplay videos and reviews on YouTube. But man, even Nomura watching YouTube to like remind himself of Kingdom Hearts lore. Oh my God. Basically, rather than looking back at my notes, I asked the staff to remember it and ask them what happened in past titles. Oh my God. I mean, that's probably a good thing because, like, there's just so much that, like, how do you keep track of all that? Even if you're the creator, like, how do you keep track of all that? And with Nomura, with being the creator and all of that, like, there's so much that he's probably written that never even made it into the games. So like I bet he has trouble even remembering like what did we actually publish and like what didn't make it. And so what do players not know, right? That like he knows that never got conveyed, that got cut from a game for whatever production reason. Cause you know, it's not just like, you know, this is only what we wanted to show. Like I'm sure there's a lot of stuff, a lot of stories that he wanted to tell, but you can't just because of production limitations, money limitations, time limitations, right? There's like all of that. So there's so many stories and so many little things that I'm sure he would love to tell and love to put into the games, but he can't for those production reasons. Um, so like he probably like relies on them and relies on like gameplay videos and YouTube to actually remember like wait, what was in this one scene from this game 20 years ago, right? Like what actually happened in the actual game that we published, right? Exactly, Green Luther. You also watch analysis videos. Do you ever think I got it right so I'll change it or I don't understand it at all? Uh oh, I think what this is saying do you ever watch an analysis video and say like the person's theory video, they predicted something and got it right so I'm going to change what actually happens, or do you watch them and say, "Oh, they don't get this at all?" It's such an interesting question. I watch it because I think it's purely interesting. Rather, I often think it's not as complicated as I thought it would be. Again, Google Translate. This is probably like watching like someone's complicated theory and saying like it's really Nomura himself saying it's really not that complicated, dude. Like you're looking way too into it. That's gotta be wild as the creator to watch stuff like that. I'm often impressed by how much they've looked into it. However, for example, some people point out the connection to the Final Fantasy series, but the scenario writers for both are different, and no matter how much I've been involved in both, there's no connection to other titles. So there's no connection, confirming that there's absolutely no connection between like the Final Fantasy universe and the Kingdom Hearts universe, even though there's Final Fantasy characters in Kingdom Hearts, there's no direct connection between the two. So like Final Fantasy 7 remake and rebirth are not at all some kind of weird canon, also exist in the same universe as the Kingdom Hearts universe. Really wild what's going to happen when like with Quadratum and all of that though. Man, I love that. Oh my god, no more watching theory videos. I don't think the Kingdom Hearts series was expected to develop the way it is now from the first game. As the series progresses, the number of settings and characters increases, and it becomes increasingly difficult to make the story coherent. Do you always improvise these things? This interviewer knows what they're asking. I want to ask him if he's seen the Riku is gay video. Remember that when he's saying I watch theory videos, I watch gameplay videos, I'm sure he watches stuff from Western fans, like positive. He has to. But as far as like watching a complicated theory video, it's probably Japanese fans because then he's, I've never heard him speak English. So like he's probably like he would be watching an English speaking theory video with the same kind of Google Translate that we're going through, that we're reading right now, right? So there's going to be a huge disconnect between like what's actually being said and what, but who knows? I mean, who knows? But still, like it's probably Japanese fans theory videos, which I would love to watch. Oh my god. I never like searched like Japanese speaking videos on YouTube. Like I've seen Japanese fans reaction videos, which are so cute. Which are so cute. I've never seen like a theory video though. It'd be cool to see a Japanese fan like going into it. Like, I wonder how prevalent that is in Japan, like the theory videos and stuff. Bye, Terlin. Have a good day at work. No, Nomura has watched the 6-hour Riku is gay video and said, wow, they got everything exactly right. I'm so happy. He's seen the ship art. Listen, you don't exist on the internet and not see fan art of your characters. And even among Japan, there is no greater amount of fan art out there than Soriku. So, he knows. um, if something doesn't fit, I'll improvise on the spot. It's true that I didn't work out all the details at the time of Kingdom Hearts 1, but I thought about the next one and the next one together and worked towards that. So when I was making 3, I naturally included 4 and moved the whole thing forward thinking about it. That's so interesting, which makes sense, especially at this point, because like when you're making Kingdom Hearts 1, like I don't know if by the time he finished Kingdom Hearts 1 he knew for sure if there would ever be another game, right? But at this point, like you have like he's making Kingdom Hearts 3 and like he knows it's not going to flop, like he can figure that there's going to be a Kingdom Hearts 4. They're going to fund another Kingdom Hearts game, right? So when he's making 3, when they're writing the scenario of 3, he's got 4 in mind. It's not like he's just focusing on that and that's it, right? Like he's thinking, okay, like how is this going to lead into Kingdom Hearts 4? Which is interesting because of later in the interview how he's going to talk about how Kingdom Hearts 4 is kind of a series reset in a way. And yet he's still thinking about, how 3 is going to bridge to 4 because um obviously, Sora disappears. They plant the seeds and the hints of Yozora and Quadratum and the foretellers and everything. So of course you're planting the seeds that are going to grow into what, why Sora is in where he is in Kingdom Hearts 4. So like of course you're going to do that. And then suddenly Missing Link. This year, the smartphone app titled Kingdom Hearts Missing Link is scheduled to be released. Are you concerned that by developing an important storyline on an app or handheld game console, more players will be unable to follow the story? Again, this interviewer asking the real questions like, are you concerned that people aren't going to play your phone game and miss crucial lore because it's in a phone game? And he says yes. So the story unfolds in a timeline that is much older than the Kingdom Hearts series. However, as everyone said, Kingdom Hearts 4 was just announced, but it's really just like Kingdom Hearts 13. There are, of course, connections even outside of the numbered titles. Even Nomura saying, like, please play not just the numbered games, please play the other games. They're so important. 13. Kingdom Hearts 4 is Kingdom Hearts 13 confirmed. Oh my god. See, Nomura considers every game a numbered title. There it is. I think you'll be able to enjoy Kingdom Hearts on a deeper level if you play all the games. However, this time, both Kingdom Hearts Missing Link and Kingdom Hearts 4 are being made with a stronger focus on being new titles rather than sequels. For example, as a new attempt, I've had staff who have never worked on the Kingdom Hearts series participate in the scenario. I'll be involved in the end, but in the sense that the writers who don't know Kingdom Hearts are creating the base of it, I don't think it's a work that I have to do. After all, Kingdom Hearts Missing Link is a blank history, so it's assumed that there are gaps. If you know it, you'll be able to enjoy it more deeply. That is beautiful. So Kingdom Hearts 4 and Missing Link are part of this new saga, the Darkseeker saga, the Xehanort saga, which was everything up until Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind, and Dark Road, I think, is kind of included in there. Melody of Memory, really, because that was the summary. Though I think Melody of Memory is kind of like a bridge between the Xehanort saga and this Lost Master arc. I think that it's God, his answers are so perfect because like he's saying that this is that we're trying to really make this a new jumping off point for new players to come in. He recognizes that Kingdom Hearts is a 20 plus year old series, and that there's a ton of lore and a ton of characters and a ton of stuff, to know, and it's very intimidating for new players coming in, and has a reputation for just being a lot of lore, which it is, right? And so he wants this to be new. He wants Missing Link and he wants Kingdom Hearts 4 to be a place where new players can come in and not be overwhelmed, to have like a new starting point for the Kingdom Hearts series, but still acknowledging that if you are a veteran of the series and know all the lore and know all the characters, that you will enjoy it on a deeper level, obviously, right? Because you already know these characters, you know their history, you know where they came from. It makes me wonder how much recap is going to happen in Kingdom Hearts 4. Like how much are they like what's the relevant info that like new players are going to have to know if they haven't played any other Kingdom Hearts games? Like how is that going to be portrayed? How, like, what's the important stuff? Like in Kingdom Hearts 3 there was those little videos that kind of gave you a very like a very quick and dirty, this is what has happened in the Kingdom Hearts series up until this point, because Kingdom Hearts 3 was meant to be a direct continuation of everything that's happened. So Kingdom Hearts 4 being this new starting point is so interesting. I'm so curious how exactly they're going to do it, what old lore they're going to tell us, because there's going to have to be stuff that they're going to have to tell us, because like the foretellers and the Master of Masters and Lushu and just, I mean, Sora himself, and why is he there, and how did he get there, and he's trying to get home. Well, where is home? Like, there's still a ton of info that Kingdom Hearts 4 is going to launch off of. And so how much of that is going to be told to new players? How much of that is going to be, assumed that we already know this? It's so interesting. And he's specifically, because he wants it to be a fresh look at the series and the characters, bringing on brand new writers who have never written for the Kingdom Hearts series, and having like them write these characters. And of course he's there, involved in everything, but like this fresh perspective, and both in Missing Link and Kingdom Hearts 4. I actually didn't realize that Missing Link also had writers who had never worked on the Kingdom Hearts series. That doesn't worry me at all, because it's not like when you say new writers have been brought in who have never worked on Kingdom Hearts, that doesn't mean that, like, Nomura's not involved. Like, that would make me nervous if, like, Nomura was not involved, if he retired and, he handed the story over to brand new people and wasn't involved anymore. That would make me scared. But bringing in new, fresh writers who haven't written for Kingdom Hearts, but he's still directing everything, he's still writing the story. They're just giving their fresh perspective on it and the characters. I'm so curious to see how this is gonna work out. Are you writing this all down, Spec? This will all be on the tests. Sora, dinner's ready is all you need to know. Yes. The it's gonna end with Sora going home for dinner. Just as it's difficult to catch up with a long-running manga title from the first volume, the Kingdom Hearts series also has a large number of titles, so it seems like the same problem will arise. What are your thoughts on acquiring new players in the future? Let me know. As before, I do think of Missing Link in 4 as a reset. I wanted to end it with 3, or rather reset it so 3 ends the Dark Seeker saga. And we knew that. We've known this. We've known that the first saga of the Kingdom Hearts series is over. That's, it leads into the next one. But that was one saga, and that is, kind of complete. The trios are back together. There was a lot that was resolved, right? But it still led into the next one with Sora's disappearance and all the other questions we have. And so this is kind of a fresh start. So I appointed new writers and even made a new logo to make it easier for people to get into it. I don't think that calling it Kingdom Hearts 4 is going to make it easier. Like, or changing, like, the font of the title, which is really strange, because it's had, like, the same font forever, right? And it was the Kingdom Hearts series had, like, a very unique font to it, and I find the Kingdom Hearts 4 one personally is a lot more plain, which I don't like. I don't like that it's less unique, in my opinion. Um, so I hope that in the way that it's marketed, port like um gets across that this is even more than in the past, a place for new players to start. Um, but it's the same for, like, Kingdom Hearts 3. Even though Kingdom Hearts 3 was a direct continuation, that doesn't mean that you can't jump right into Kingdom Hearts 3 without having uh played any other game and not have a great time, right? Like, you can have a fantastic time with Kingdom Hearts 3. You're just going to be very confused on who are these characters, why are they looking for these characters, what are these locations, what are they referring to. There's a lot of that, I'm sure, if you've only played 3. So Kingdom Hearts 4 will have less of that. Basically, we'll have less of those. Who's this? Why is this happening? What are they referring to? It's going to have that, because it even though it's a new starting point, it is a continuation of the story. I think it's just going to have less direct ties to what has happened before. Kingdom Hearts squared. Why the heck is Donald Duck here? That's right. So that's what the change in the logo meant. Those who know the ending of 3 will understand that the reason Sora ended like that was to reset the story up to that point. Right, Sora was the one that reset the timeline, right? He went back and created a new timeline. So he was the one who did this. I love how, like, Nomura wanted to make a new start to the story and wrap up the saga, and so, like, he directly, like, wrote that into the lore, right? He directly wrote in, like, Sora is the one doing, like, a reset. It's so brilliant. So 4 should be easier to get into than the previous games. I think that if people who like Kingdom Hearts play it, they'll say this is it, but we're making it with the hope that as many new players as possible will play it. Yeah, so same thing. So not disregarding longtime players, It's still going to be Kingdom Hearts. There's still going to be all the lore threads. There's still going to be everything that we can read deeply into, and the same characters that we love. Um, but really just with new players in mind more than ever. Um, Donald is there to be loud and berate people, and I respect him for that. Yeah, he can be a little mean sometimes. Hi, Muko. How you doing? Oh my gosh. I hope we at least reach Kingdom Hearts 7. Oh my gosh. I love that he's calling like Kingdom Hearts 4 is really like Kingdom Hearts 13. I thought there already was like 13 or 14 games though. I guess it depends on what you're counting as a game. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited to read like a better translation of this. I'll for sure be rereading it when it goes up on one of the other sites. For Kingdom Hearts 3 to count as the 13th game that includes at least one remake. No, because I think there's more than that. I think, like I said, that's what I was saying, that I think Kingdom Hearts 4 is like the 15th or 16th game, actually. I don't know. Somebody go count. Nomura apparently thinks it's the 13th, so I'm going to take the word of God. However, he's counting. I'm going to say Kingdom Hearts 4 is the 13th game then. You said in a previous interview that in Kingdom Hearts 4, you spend a lot of time in Quadratum, a place similar to Shibuya. What was your intention in bringing a more realistic setting to a work that was completely a fantasy world? Like, it's a world of fiction to them. There are a few reasons, but I like worldview. Oh, here. Wait, there are a few reasons, but I like worlds that are slightly different from possible reality rather than ones that are too fake. It's the same with movies, but if the world is too zero based, I can't really get into it. So I feel like I'm dreaming in settings that are based on Shibuya, but not the real Shibuya. So he's saying like in games that are set in a real world place like Shibuya, where but like it's in a video game, so it's obviously not real. That he gets like it's like uncanny valley, right? It's just kind of like this is real, but it's not reality. So it's like weird, so you've got to like change it up and make it different enough that you're not like that it's not trying to copy the real world. I think that unrealistic within reality fits the fantasy view very well. So yeah, so I think he's saying that you've got to make it, he likes making it different enough that it's not like one to one, because otherwise, because that's weird. VCast doesn't count. Even in manga, for example, Tokyo Ghoul is set in Tokyo and Jujutsu Kaisen is set in Shibuya. There may be many manga readers and game players who like fantasy that's closer to reality. That's probably true. I think it's easy to empathize with it. Also, I thought that medieval high fantasy works have always been something that many people make even without me. In 2007, I released a work set in Shibuya called This Wonderful World, and recently a lot of work set in Shibuya have been released. Is it true? Everyone's come to Shibuya. All video games have led back to Shibuya. It certainly seems like there are more and more works based in reality in Japan. I'd like to ask you about the unreality within reality. At the beginning of Kingdom Hearts, there's a monologue that says, "I don't really understand if this world, the is any of this real or not." Um, does that mean that the idea for Quadratum was already in the works? The name Quadratum didn't exist at the time, but the idea was there. It was a long term plan that I knew would come to this point someday. Oh my god. Literally, like the opening of Kingdom Hearts 1. Is any of this for real or not? None of this makes sense to me. Is any of this for real or not? Like he knew someday that he wanted to make this like he wanted Sora to go to like unreality or whatever that means. Whatever that means exactly. I know, right? Like crazy from the very, very beginning. He knew he wanted to explore this concept of like unreality and the characters going to unreality. Incredible. I can't think like a week into the future, right? How cool to see an artist, a creator, a writer, see something like that realized after almost 20 years, right? By the time Kingdom Hearts 4 comes out, probably like 24, 25 years later, that base idea, that base question that the series was started with is going to like come to fruition, right? And how cool that at the end of Remind, at the end of the Yozora fight, we heard that again, both out of Sora's mouth and out of Yozora's mouth. I just, Kingdom Hearts is going to get so meta. Biggest brain of all time. Yes, Nomura, biggest brain of all time. 40 chess, always playing 40 chess with us. So after 20 years, the plot will finally be resolved. My last question is, Nomura, do you foresee the end of the Kingdom Hearts series? Um, this has been translated weird, but basically like unless I'm dreaming, I only have a few years left until I retire. So it's like I have to decide whether to retire first or finish the series first, which is like, oh my god. However, I'm making Kingdom Hearts 4 with the intention of it being a story that will be completed. So he's committed to finishing the Kingdom Hearts series. He's committed to finishing the story and Kingdom Hearts being done, but acknowledging that uh he's 54 years old and wants to retire or isn't going to be doing this forever. So the way he's writing the story is in a way that he's going to be able to complete it. So at least complete this story that he's writing. That doesn't mean that there might not be more Kingdom Hearts, but it might be different. It might be different writers, different director. But I think like I don't know if that means that Sora's story will come to an end, or this, when he had that original vision of is any of this for real or not, that concept, that question, that original vision he wants to see that to completion. So he only has, I mean, a couple more games to do that, which is really sad. Which is really sad to think about. It actually, like, for the first time, like, foreseeing to see, like, to hear out of the creator's mouth that like the end of the Kingdom Hearts series is very real. Um like for the first time kind of makes me very, very sad that I didn't get into this series earlier because I've only been into it for like 5 years now. I haven't been into it since I was a kid. I haven't been into the series for 20 years. I only got into it a year before Kingdom Hearts 3 came out, so in 2018. Um so I feel like even though, the fans will always keep it alive no matter what happens, I feel like it's extremely bittersweet to to think that it, sooner rather than later, it's like I'm not going to spend the rest of my life with this series, at least new stuff. Like I said, the fandom will always keep it alive. Um and who knows what other Kingdom Hearts there may be, or remakes, or like there could be a remake of the entire series sometime down the line, that Nomura, might not be a part of. Um but that's wild. Oh my god. I know. Definitely the most emotional part of this whole interview. Hi, Fiery Please. I admire him for actually wanting to end things, but in today's world, so many people have their fingers in the franchise pie. We'll just have to see. Oh, sure. I mean, and like I said, anything could happen. Anything could happen, but I as like, respecting him as a creator, as a writer, I just want to see him I want for him to see his vision complete. I want him to retire and say, "Hi, Red Pursuit."
Peachy smirk.
Isaac? I hear a Pizak. Wait, what? Thank you so much, Red Pursuit. Hold on. I hear a kitty. There you are. Oh, I thought you were outside, Mr. Pizak. Are you mewing? Do you want to go outside? Come here, Pizak. You're a good boy. Yes, you are. Mr. Pizak just mewing down the hallway. Welcome, everybody who's coming. I'm sorry if I missed your hello as I was talking about this interview. Meow. Hi. Hi, Pizak. He's mewing. Geeks are gonna geek even after Nomura. That's right. Hi. Oh, he's a good kitty. Yes, he is. Hi. What you doing? No, you can't go on my desk. No. He's a good boy. Thank you again, Red Pursuit, for the 5 months. So the Kingdom Hearts saga will end with 4. No, I don't think he's saying that 4 is the last game. He's saying that he's writing 4. Everything that he's writing right now is with is a means to get to the end. Like, he has the end in sight. He wants to see it done, by the time he retires, which is not that long away, and he recognizes that. So he's writing the series in a way that basically, as I read it, within the next decade or less, he wants to have Kingdom Hearts be done. At least his vision, again, his vision for Kingdom Hearts. And what I was saying before was, as just respecting him as an artist, as a creator, I just want him to finish his vision. I want him to retire with his vision complete, with his story complete. Not feeling like, he has more to tell, which I'm sure he has a million side stories he could tell, right? But like that very first, is any of this for real or not? Having that come to a conclusion, having that story finish how he wants it to by the time he retires. I want that for him as a creator, as an artist, as a dev. So I hope that he is able to do it in a way that makes him happy, because he deserves it. He deserves to see his series go out with a bang, to see it complete. Ow! Why'd you bite me? And then like retire and be happy about it. Right? Yeah. So that he can retire in peace as he deserves for all of the wonderful stories that he has given us. Yeah, exactly, Green Luther. What's up, Edge? How you doing? I really hope he'll get to complete it with the vision he's had since the beginning without feeling he has to rush it or leave it to others to complete it. Yes. Yes. Exactly. It's bitter. It's bittersweet, but I hope we get a definitive ending. So there could still be room if there's if there's a game director who wants to make a Ventus game or an Aqua game, that can still happen, but not like each new Kingdom Hearts game has to consider for where all the characters are. See, that would be amazing. So then we would still have Kingdom Hearts. You could still have the franchise go on, but you could tell those side stories and tell stories like that are like interpretations, other artists' interpretations of those characters, right? Yeah, I think that would be amazing. But like the main saga of Kingdom Hearts that is Nomura's vision, yeah, if that came to a close, but then we still had, like you said, other games, which makes me curious because we know from an interview that he was also making Verum Rex. So, and I don't know if that was like directly related to Kingdom Hearts or not. Cause like he said in an interview, or is that just gonna get scrapped? Like, what's that about? Like, is he gonna simultaneously finish the Kingdom Hearts series and then make like a Verum Rex game? Is it gonna be Kingdom Hearts Verum Rex? Like, what? Like, that is confusing and a little concerning. Is he going to hand that project off to somebody else if it was separate from the Kingdom Hearts series? And again, that's another thing is you can finish like Sora's story and then hand something like a Verum Rex, whatever that is, over to somebody else. And he could still be like a contractor. That's the thing. Like he could retire from being a full-time employee, a full-time dev, because full-time plus, because we know he's got his hands in so many different pies and he's doing so many different things. I mean, he had to step down from being one of the directors on Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. He was still the creative director, but he had to step down from being the main director on Rebirth so that he could focus on Kingdom Hearts. And maybe that was with it in mind that, you know, he's only got so much more time to conclude the Kingdom Hearts saga, as he sees it, that he wants to tell. So he's like, you know, I got to focus on that rather than something like Rebirth, which I'm sure he's still very, you know, he loves that series very much too. So he wants to see that to completion as well. So and even then, if he retires from being an employee, that doesn't mean that um he can't be do contract work here and there, make some artwork. Like I heard somebody say that like Amano still is retired but still is contracted to make like, you know, the Final Fantasy logo art and stuff like that. Like they're contracted to do stuff here and there, right? Like he's, you know, so it's very possible that Nomura, you know, maybe if there's more Kingdom Hearts games, maybe he could still draw the cover, maybe he could still do some concept art or something for the characters and share his ideas, right? Because he retires doesn't necessarily mean that he just fades off into obscurity and we never hear from him again. His name is never on anything ever again, right? But that's up to him. That's completely up to him to decide in what capacity he wants to continue to be involved. So that we have, you know, that's remains to be seen. But you know, as sad as it is to think about him retiring, he more than deserves it. And I just wish him all the best in completing the series as he wants to see it completed, and then to go into a retirement with no regrets and, you know, happy with his work and everything that he deserves for everything he's given us. Did he confirm Smash being canon? Um, he didn't necessarily say that Smash was canon, but that he considered what Sora being in Smash would mean for the Kingdom Hearts canon, if that, whatever that means to Nomura. That's why I'm saying is Verum Rex is still like what's going on with Verum Rex, because yes, the interview said that they were considering making a Verum Rex game next after KH3 and Remind and Melody and all that, but the fans were so like worried about Sora. Like, what happened to Sora? He faded away. Is he okay? Right? Like, he said that people were asking so much about Sora that they decided to focus on Kingdom Hearts 4 instead. Yes. So like my question is, what happened to Verum Rex? What game is that supposed to be? Why were they making that first? Is that a separate game? Is that, Verum Rex is in Kingdom Hearts, so like is it connected to Kingdom Hearts? Is it not? Like, obviously it's going to be connected because Yozora, right? Like, but at the same time, maybe not, because like Cloud and Sephiroth and Squall and Yuffie and blah, 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 so on and so forth, are in Kingdom Hearts, but they're not related to, they're not the same characters as in their respective solo franchises. So Verum Rex might be the same. You might have Yozora, a version of Yozora in Kingdom Hearts, but Yozora could also be his own character in Verum Rex, which has nothing to do with Kingdom Hearts series. It's just that Yozora in Kingdom Hearts came first, whereas, the other Final Fantasy characters came first in their games and then were in Kingdom Hearts. It might just be the opposite for Yozora, right? You just assume that meant that they aren't doing a Verum Rex. I don't know. Did they shelf it or did they just delay it? Is Nomura going to be involved? Is he going to hand it over? Is he going to finish Kingdom Hearts and then hand over Verum Rex to someone else? We have no idea. Yeah, that's all just complete speculation. So, I don't know. But he did say fan feedback made them do Kingdom Hearts 4 instead of Verum. Focus on Kingdom Hearts 4. I always read it as do Kingdom Hearts 4 first. I don't know if it might be instead. I don't know. That would just, and that can change. And even if it did mean something, that can all change. Speculate wildly. That's right. That could all change, right? So we just gonna have to see. I'm just glad that what I wanted out of this interview, what I wanted was mention of Missing Link and mention of Kingdom Hearts 4, like they're still happening, and that's exactly what we got, plus more. So I'm so happy with this interview. Oh, are we doing the Final Fantasy 7 section? Yeah, let's go through that real quick. I'm sorry. I totally forgot. And there actually are some Kingdom Hearts tidbits in the Final Fantasy section. Thank you for reminding me, Willow. I'm so sorry. I totally blanked on that. Because yes, this was just the Kingdom Hearts page. There's actually 2 more pages of interview. There's actually 2 whole pages of interview. This was just the Kingdom Hearts page. And the other 2 are about Rebirth, although there are some Kingdom Hearts tidbits in here. Welcome back, Couchies. Yeah. That's why we're here. We love Final Fantasy 7, but the Kingdom Hearts part is why we were here, right? All right. Our Google Translate of the rest of the interview. What's not to be followed and what cannot be followed. To celebrate the 45th anniversary of Young Jump, we are conducting a series of special interviews. In the second installment, we will be interviewing Tetsuya Nomura, the creative director of the highly anticipated title Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, to be released in 2024. We will explore the appeal. Wow, was this interview done before Rebirth came out? We will explore the appeal of this creator who produces overwhelmingly unique and innovative work. Interview and text by Young Jump editorial department. Photography by Kozo Ishikawa. So I guess this was I was wondering if this was a new photo. I hope Nomura is doing well. All right. The long-awaited, are we here? Okay. The long-awaited second installment of Final Fantasy VII Remake Trilogy Rebirth was released this year. What goals did you want to achieve with this title? The goal of the remake trilogy, rather than reverse, is to correct the distortion of perception and unify the series. Normally, remakes are about keeping the game system and story intact while making the image quality beautiful. However, more than 20 years have passed since the original, and simply making it beautiful would obviously not fit the current era. And I thought that the player's memories would be heavily biased. Whew, man, he knows. So aware. I don't think there are many people who have been playing Final Fantasy VII for 20 years. There are some. So the old memories must have changed slightly in each player's mind. I love that. Furthermore, there are several spin off works of Seven, and even the same scene may be different from the original. So I think that the passage of time and the existence of spin offs have caused a subtle distortion of perception in the player's memories. If I replay it now, I think, oh, the scene was like this? I thought it was this way. I feel the same way, but especially Nojima, the scenario writer, was concerned about that distortion of perception, so I wanted to converge it into one. That is fascinating. Wow, because it's so true, right? Basically, nostalgia blindness, right? Like you remember a scene one way, unless you like played it very recently, which most people haven't. They played it when they were younger, right? So 20 years have passed, and this is going to be the same way with the Kingdom Hearts series too. Someone who played the first game 20 years ago and hasn't played it or seen it since will have memories of it that might not be what actually happened, right? Because it's been so long and it was their interpretation of it, and it was them interpreting a scene as they were at the time, right? If you play a game when you're 10, you're going to interpret, especially something with a narrative like Kingdom Hearts or Final Fantasy VII, you're going to interpret it differently than if you played it at 30, right? They're so big brain, so big brain. Oh my God. Yes, exactly. Exactly. It's so true. There was certainly a sense of a distortion in perception with the spin off work. How was that distortion expressed in the game? At the end of the game, in the scene where Sephiroth is in a white space and Cloud is flying, various visions are seen. Among them, the world of Final Fantasy VII in the player's mind is surely also included. And although they are all Final Fantasy VII, they are subtly different. There are several world lines like different worlds. We have made it easy to understand, such as this person's alive in World A, but not in World B. But each person has a different way of perceiving things. Memories, are slightly rewritten over time. There are discrepancies in spin offs, and in this work, we have had players experience several worlds of different layers, and that vision expresses these things. Wow. Just acknowledging the acknowledgement that, like, not only people's memories of your work are going to be different, but that even in the current generation, the way people perceive and read and interpret your work is going to be different depending on their own experiences. Wow. Final Fantasy VII, a remake reborn. A world map has been introduced in Rebirth. Has the world map that you envisioned finally been realized? That's right. This is really thanks to the hard work of the people in the ground in the studio. I think we were able to present the Final Fantasy VII world map that everyone, including us, had dreamed of. Aww. There are also a lot of mini games and exploration elements. Is this because you wanted players to explore every corner of the vast world map? That's right. Without a goal, there would be no motivation to explore every nook and cranny, and you would just wander around the vast world. That would make the vast world map meaningless. So the game is packed with various elements so that exploration leads to discoveries and achievements. I want to know how they implement that in Kingdom Hearts 4. How freely are we going to get to run around Quadratum in Kingdom Hearts 4? I am so curious. I am so curious. Please let Sora get a part-time job. I want Kingdom Hearts 4 to be Persona so bad. Okay, I don't want it to be Persona. I want to choose what Sora does with his evenings. I want to choose whether Sora stays in and plays video games, whether he goes to his part-time job, whether he hangs out with someone, whether I want to whether he just walks around the city, rents a movie, goes to the arcade. Like I want to choose what Sora does with his time. I want him to be a normal boy. and let me choose what he does with his normal boy time. See a gummy ship Uber driver? Oh my god. No, Sora like Uber Eats delivering food to pay for his giant apartment. Okay, like literally whose apartment do we think it is in all honesty? It's like the most expensive apartment in Shibuya. It's a freaking penthouse. Okay? Um like, do we think it's Strelitzia's? Do we think he was just like, are you assigned an apartment when you die and go to Shibuya? Is it you? I've seen people like think it's Yozora's. Like, who do we think it is? Is it like I don't know, the Master of Masters? Did he put him in the apartment? Does Sora have to pay rent? That's the question. Does Sora have to pay rent on that apartment? Because he's gonna need more than a part-time job if that's the case. Does Sora go to the Pride Parade? And right, like these are the things I want to choose. What he does. Donald is not there to tell Sora that he can't have fun. Does Sora go to the nightclub and like dance it up? Right. We know he can dance. So Kingdom Hearts like a dragon. That's right. Sora opens a new shop called Pao Poo Bucks. Oh my god. Maybe because he's done so much good and someone else is aware and placed him there. Ah. Because it was like self-sacrifice. He didn't just die, right? Uh he like sacrificed himself. He committed a nature taboo, man. Someone's gonna be pissed at him. He's not Chirithy. He's gonna show up in Quadratum and be like, I told you you shouldn't have done that. All right. Manga doesn't often have good looking guys as protagonists. Manga doesn't? But I think that the works you work on have a lot of so called cool characters. Is there anything you keep in mind when designing the protagonist? In other words, thank you. That's what I literally just said. Nomura said, huh? Doesn't manga characters have, don't manga usually have handsome protagonists? For example, Naruto and Luffy are not portrayed as what you would call good looking men in the stories. So basically, he's asking Nomura, why are all your main characters hot? And Nomura said, I see. The reason I make the main characters so good looking is because in high school, a classmate of mine was playing a game where the main character wasn't very good looking. So my friends said, why does he have to be ugly in the game world? And that really made an impression on me. From that experience, I thought I want to play as a good looking character in games, and that's how I create my main characters. How wild is that? That like who knew that moment? Who is that classmate? I want to shake his hand. I hope that classmate that influenced Nomura to make hot characters is just living their absolute best life. It reflects your own experiences. In reverse, the story begins to get closer to its core, and I once again felt that Sephiroth, the enemy, was an attractive character. Please tell us about the attention to detail in the enemy's designs and setting. In my opinion, the protagonist cannot have many adventures in terms of design or setting. If they do something too eccentric, they become too edgy and no longer become a character you can empathize with. I actually like characters with strong personalities, so I make the enemy characters have adventures that the protagonist cannot have. Oh, how interesting! So he'll specifically make the protagonist a little more quote unquote bland so that you can, or they won't make them too eccentric so that they're relatable, right? Because the more like personality traits and emotion and all of the stuff that you pile on top of your protagonist, the less the player can relate directly to them and see themselves in them if they choose to, right? The immersion factor. Um so all of those like wild personality traits, the eccentricity, that he wants to put into characters, that he enjoys in characters, he tends to put onto the villain instead. It's perfect. It's perfect. The neutral mask theory of entertainment. Yeah. Yeah, you don't want them to be too bland that they're not a character. Um, but if they're too eccentric, which is not a bad thing either. Right, but it's just kind of like whatever creative direction you want to go with it. But that's interesting. So he tends to put those more those crazier character traits onto the villains. Do you have a favorite enemy character? I think Sephiroth is the one who's loved, but he's also handsome. Everybody loves Sephiroth because he's hot. Yeah, I like Organization 13, the enemy organization in Kingdom Hearts. I don't think the designs of Organization 13 would be that unique without their personalities. That's because I feel that it's only when their inner and outer appearances come together that they become that kind of character. So he put, once again, he put those strong personalities onto Organization 13, recognizing that, like, well, their designs aren't that different, so they all have very different personalities that make them unique. Yeah, they're also fascinating. Who's your favorite member of Organization 13? I have to say Zigbard and Luxord. I really like them. Probably because those are the ones he's currently writing for. That is awesome. I think he said that for a long time, though, especially Luxord. I think he said for a long time that Luxord is actually his favorite. And I have to wonder if that's because there's some like there's going to be a reveal, a very exciting, like who he actually is very exciting. And so that makes him, his lore makes him Nomura's favorite, and we just don't know yet. Or maybe he just likes the guy. I don't know. What is Luxord's secret? I mean, we still don't even know Luxord's like somebody name. Uh, why does Nomura keep making Cloud so depressed? I don't think he's depressed. He just isn't good in social situations cuz he's like a year old. Cuz he's a clone. He's like not isn't he? Isn't he like a something he was Shinra soldiered cuz he was Shinra soldiered. Dude. Okay, not a clone. I said that wrong. But he's Shinra soldiered, right? He knows he's going to die, especially in Rebirth. Um in Rebirth, he's seeing all of these other Shinra soldiers um become mad, right? From the Mako poisoning. And so there's a lot of moments in Rebirth where he gets sad because he like knows that eventually he's going to be overtaken and become one of those black cloaks maybe from the Mako poisoning. So he's having a hard time like living. He should be just living in the moment and enjoying the right now because he has that, right? Like we all should. Um but if you knew you were going to die, if you knew you were going to go mad sooner rather than later and not have a full life, you'd be pretty sad too, right? Oh, in Kingdom Hearts, he's just an edgy boy. Oh yeah, there was the whole like Zack's memory influence and stuff too. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sephiroth was the cause of his depression in Kingdom Hearts. There you go. That's why we had to kick Sephiroth's butt. It's an old man character who works behind the scenes. What is he saying that these are the old men characters? Nomura likes the old men characters. In Reverse, the party members are finally complete. So I guess Reverse is Rebirth. I think they're just translating that. Oh, I can see why the translator made that. So the Reverse is Rebirth. It's just they translated it wrong. The party members are finally complete, and I felt that the character interactions were a big attraction. What do you think is the reason for the popularity of the Final Fantasy VII characters? I mentioned that you can only adventure with enemy characters, or you can only play around with enemy characters. But since Final Fantasy VII was the first game where I was really involved in character design, including personality, the players were also sharp. At the time, I was still young and didn't know the style, so I just wanted to put in some unique characters. If you think about it, Final Fantasy VII is a strange party. That's true. The silhouettes are very unique as well. I love that about these silhouettes, because that actually is what makes very good character design. And is that you if you can show a character's silhouette and people will recognize who they are, that's very good character design. Um, and yeah, the Final Fantasy VII characters are very, very much like that. And I remember I think in one of the 20th anniversary interviews for Kingdom Hearts, they asked about Sora's Kingdom Hearts 4 design in the trailer and if it was like final, and he said like it's mostly final, that the silhouette. I remember reading something about him saying that like the silhouette is what we want it to be, even if the details might not be final. Because we saw stuff in Kingdom Hearts 3 even change a little bit. Not necessarily Sora's outfit, but like his hairstyle changed a tad from like the original uh like reveal and marketing material. Like it changed a little bit. So it's I think it's been so long, and Kingdom Hearts 4 was in such an alpha state. I think the finalized Kingdom Hearts 4 Sora is going to be like quite different. I think it's going to be a different than like, you know, this Kingdom Hearts 4 alpha reveal trailer Sora that we've had in our head for 2.5 years now, right? I think he's gonna we're gonna be surprised at how he looks in like the next trailer. It's gonna be very different, I think. And normal shoes, Sora with normal shoes. Will there be a break after reading? Yes, yes. I think that this is what makes him so appealing. For example, Red 13, a dog-like character in 7, is four-legged, but if you think about it, the game system's control would change for just one person. So you can't put a four-legged character in your party. Kate Sith and Fat Moogle are two of them. They are quite a lot of such reckless acts due to youth. Yeah, they're all very different. Aerith and Tifa are what we call the double heroines, but how did those two come about? I've never said this anywhere. Aerith was made first, but her personality was similar to Tifa. However, I didn't want to follow the same conventional flow as before, so I decided to make it a double heroine. At that time, the personality that was put into Aerith alone split off and the character of Tifa was born. Tifa confirmed Tifa was born from Aerith. they were they were literally meant to be together. They were originally the same character. They're literally soulmates. Airtees, we won. We won today. Word of God, Nomura said that they were originally one character. Tifa was born from Aerith. They are literally soulmates. They are literally meant to be together. Airtees, let's go. Let's go, lesbians. At that time, the personality was put into Aerith, split off, and the character of Tifa was born. And Aerith has a destiny that she's carrying in the story, so I created her inner self to highlight that. I like that. That's a valuable story. How did you come up with the design? Aerith was a heroine with a sense of glamour. Cloud is a character with a darker side, both inside and out. And Barrett is tough. So I gave Aerith red clothes and bright hair to add some color. Also, at the time, it was a polygon game, and I couldn't express the fine details of the hair or the texture of the fluttering, so I tied it up. Oh, so he tied up her hair. Her hair is in a braid because with the polygons, like, because Tifa's is kind of too, like it's tied in the back, right? Because polygons, and he couldn't like animate like the movement of hair, so he tied their hair back. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. That's the behind the scenes story. Tifa's hair is long and get difficult to express because it can't be tied up in the same way. However, Tifa also has her hair tied at the end. This was also for the sake of ease of motion control. Yes, that's what I just said. That's all. Oh my God. How funny that character design comes about. Again, that's the kind of stuff like that the production aspect of it can affect things like that. And you don't even realize that like that's the reason, right? What do you think are the strengths and unique characteristics of your character designs? Honestly, I don't know. I think there are many people who draw famous characters in a similar way, but until recently, no one drew my drawings in a similar way. Even when I draw them myself, it's quite difficult to draw them. Again, however, I'm particular about the reasons for why something is a certain color or shape, even down to the smallest details. So when I check designs drawn by others, I ask questions like, why is this part shaped like this? It may be something that other people don't care about so much. Wow, he is super attentive to detail. Like every detail like means something. I love that. Such detailed settings become the personality of the character, and I think that they will eventually become part of the game and story. I think my designs are only possible because of the work. When designing costumes, do you also consider how they will be put on and taken off? I have it in my mind. Do you ever undress your characters, Nomura? That's kind of an odd question, but what's the practicality? He's asking, like, do you think about the practicality of costumes, of your character's clothing? I have it in mind, but even if you saw it, you probably wouldn't think that he's thought about that. At the time, cosplayers were just starting to appear, and I sometimes drew thinking no one can cosplay this, but surprisingly, they do, which surprised me. Listen, Nomura, you can make something as insane as you possibly can make it. Someone will figure out a way to cosplay it. They might have to literally sew themselves into the costume, but they will do it. They will do it. I know now Aerith's hair has more polygons than OG Aerith had altogether. One strand of Aerith's hair probably has more polygons than OG Aerith. With the spread of social media and the like, we have more opportunities to see players' opinions and comments. But as the creator, to what extent do you think players' opinions should be reflected in the story? Whoa, hitting the big questions. The player's perspective is very interesting, and I often notice things, so I think I pay close attention to it. I don't think it's necessary to reflect their opinions at all, and if there's something that needs to be done, I think it's better to do it. However, if we go in the opposite direction to what the players want and create a scenario in which a popular character suffers a terrible fate, I don't think that's good for the players' feelings. That said, I don't think it's right to say, I want it to be like this, or yes, I understand. The point is that we should think of a scenario with a clear intention rather than just following players' opinions. As for Aerith in the remake trilogy, I can't talk about her yet. Oh. This is I love this. I love this. So he's like, so basically, and because like that's a big question, right? Because we're so into fandom and into, the theories and talking about what we want for the characters, and people will be like, oh, well, the devs did this because people wanted it, right? And I do 1,000% believe that there are scenes put into games because of fan feedback, right? I don't think Sephiroth would be as blatantly gay as he is for Cloud in the remake series if it wasn't for players clearly shipping the two of them, right? Um, but that doesn't like change the base of the story, right? Like that doesn't, it's very obvious. Yes, like I feel seen in those moments in games when it's like, you know, this wouldn't exist if it wasn't for players, you know, expressing this on places like social media. Um that's what he's saying, Bean, is that he's not. They're not, they don't do things just because the players think a certain way. Um, he literally said, I don't think it's necessary to do things just because the players want it, but it has to have a reason. There has to be a reason. There has to be a clear intent behind something. So there might be fan service scenes. They might play up an interaction between characters. Like there's tons of like shippy moments between the characters in the remake trilogy because obviously these characters are very loved. They're very shipped with each other, right? If the fan response wasn't that, I don't think we would have gotten as many scenes like that. There's obviously things that are put in there for fan service. But what happens to the characters doesn't change. So like um while they respect the players' feelings, you know, they don't want these characters who are so loved, they, you know, they don't want terrible things to happen to them even though they do. But basically they're going to tell the story that they're going to tell, right? They're going to tell the story they're going to tell. Things are going to happen with clear intention. Um and while yes, they do read players' feedback, they pay close attention to it, they see what the players want, but that doesn't necessarily change the base story that they're telling. Aerith still died. People don't want to see Aerith die. People didn't like when Aerith died in the original, but that doesn't mean that she lived in Rebirth, right? But there was a very unique way that they told that story. Um, it's finding a balance between honoring the fans and letting the fans dictate the story. Right. Right. He said the same thing in the Kingdom Hearts section about here when you watch analysis videos and theory videos, do you ever think like, oh, the person in the video predicted it, so I'm gonna change it? Um, like, I guess he didn't actually answer that, but he just said like he's impressed by how much people read into it. Um, yeah, so they'll take influence and they'll take note of what players enjoy or don't enjoy. I mean, they literally have character polls, especially in Japan. They'll have character polls. Who's your favorite character? Right? And the devs look at that. They had, you know, who do you want in Smash? They had Smash polls. Who around the world, what countries want what characters in Smash Brothers, right? So Sora won every single one. Ad break in progress. It did not tell me. Why did it not? Okay, that's what it did. It's not giving me a heads up that the ad break is coming. It's just playing the ad. Okay, that's sorry for everybody seeing an ad. Um it's supposed to warn me when an ad break's coming, and for some reason it's not doing that today. Um Yeah, it just went straight to the ad. Yeah, yesterday was giving, it's supposed to give us the warning. Huh. Weird. Very weird. Well, either way, that was the interview. Amazing, awesome. Thank you for the interview. Thank you all very much. Thank you, Willow, for reminding me there was 2 more pages of interview. Let's all take a break and we'll come back and play some Frostpunk. Thank you all for hanging out. I appreciate you. Thank you. Get up and stretch, grab a drink, grab a snack, get some water, and go outside, get some fresh air. And I will see you very soon. I'll be back.